Oh, could you be Steven? What? You came to see me. I told you to stay away, didn't I? Isn't it strange for someone like you, a broke person, to come to this bank? Oh, maybe you're here for a janitorial side gig.
The person I met at the bank was my ex-girlfriend, Emily White, whom I dated during my school days. She was strutting around arm in arm with a man in broad daylight. It was really just a fluke that we met at the bank.
Hey, my current boyfriend is the son of this bank's CEO. Quite different from you, huh? Ought to think I was dating someone like you back in the day. It's the biggest blunder of my life. Hey, can you move over a bit? I don't want your poverty to be contagious.
Emily shoved me on the shoulder. I recalled the miserable feelings from my school days, and something snapped in my mind. All right, I've decided. After that, the words I spoke turned my ex-girlfriend and her privileged partner pale. My name is Steven Taylor. I'm 17. My dad is the CEO of a tech company, and I've lived a more affluent life than most from a young age. I grew up thinking it was just natural to have anything I wanted, whether it was toys, games, or clothes. I dreamt vaguely of taking over my father's position as CEO, hoping to elevate the company even further. My hazy vision for the future seemed impressive enough to my peers. Given that I was top of my class academically, which lent credibility to my aspirations. Being the CEO's son and aspiring to the same position naturally commanded respect from other students at school, and I was often the center of attention. I even found a girlfriend in similar circumstances. She was Emily White, the well-known daughter of a cosmetics company president in our area. Emily was knowledgeable about cosmetics, skillfully using the products her company provided as samples. She always cared for her skin condition, and her natural makeup, fitting even in high school, made her the focus of many girls. She was a smart girl with high aesthetic sense. We, with similar status and abilities, were often hailed as a perfect couple. Emily would say, if Steven becomes a CEO, maybe I should too. A couple of CEOs would be cool, wouldn't it? She was such a sweet girlfriend. However, I painfully realized that the wealth and envy I possessed were ultimately given by others. When I entered 11th grade in high school, I heard some news that Taylor Systems, my father's company, had fallen victim to a cyber attack, leaking extensive corporate and customer data. This incident plummeted the company's trust and jeopardized its management. During the height of what seemed like international cyber terrorism, various companies and organizations were targeted, and it appears that my father's company was among them. While they're a pro-hacker group, we've got nothing but IT experts on our side. In case of a data breach at that company, you can bet the public backlash would be intense, raising questions like how was the security set up? Or were they all just a bunch of amateurs working there? Of course, the hackers were to blame, but I couldn't fully grasp that the company was responsible for not preventing it. Even with insurance payouts, the losses were massive. Clients canceled contracts one after another, and the company was investing in reinforcing its systems. Cash flow problems began, and bankruptcy became a real concern. In the midst of this, my father apologized to everyone, trying to protect his employees and the company. He reduced his own salary to a level just enough to get by, reallocating the saved money to the business and staff wages. I really didn't understand it. Why did he have to go to such lengths when he wasn't at fault? That's when my father told me.
Do you know why CEOs are wealthy?
Because they're important. I answered promptly, and he shook his head.
CEOs have a critical job. They bear the responsibility for everything in the company and must protect their employees. That's why they are paid a fitting salary. even if it's not their fault. Taking responsibility is part of being a CEO.
I never knew my father worked with such sentiment. CEOs are incredible. How naive I was, thinking I might want to be one. His words changed my view of society a little, and I then came to understand the harshness of human relationships.
Let me be clear.
One day, Emily boldly stated,
I don't think we're a good match anymore. Maybe we're just from different worlds.
This situation with my dad's company was a well-known story at school. Especially considering she's the daughter of a president, Emily must have had the information.
If it becomes known that Taylor Systems, a company that lost its credibility, and White Cosmetics, and their kids are dating, it could damage us too.
I couldn't respond. People have their values. And it's not strange that some think like Emily does now.
So, please don't associate with me anymore.
It was Emily who confessed this.
Steven, talking with you is fun, and you're knowledgeable and cool. That's why I fell for you.
She had said without any of the embarrassment she showed before. Was it all about public image or money in the end? No, thinking about it anymore is pointless. I considered it a lesson in social studies and quietly backed away. Then, I cleared my head and thought about the future. What should be my priority now? Obviously, my family. Dad, can I join your company even if I drop out of high school? Oh, I don't need a salary, of course, just as a trade for learning about society. Would that be okay? My sudden proposal shocked my parents. High school, even college, isn't something I must attend right now. But if my father's company goes under, it can't be restored. And so, in my sophomore year, I decided to drop out of high school. The news spread quickly among my classmates, and naturally, Emily found out too. On my last day of school, I was comforted by friends who supported my decision.
Well, that makes sense. It's not the time to be in high school.
I overheard Emily saying from a distance. The days that followed were a whirlwind. Having known only the world of high school, I first learned the etiquette of being a working adult, then about Taylor Systems, and the very basics of the job. The company now seemed to be divided into two main sections, one for recovery efforts to regain trust, and another continuing with system development as usual. With no knowledge of IT, I naturally joined the recovery team as support staff. I was drilled by senior employees on the details of the cyber attack, the company's reflections, and the specifics of future security enhancement plans. And I went on many trips to apologize and explain to our clients as part of my training. It seemed like they needed all the help they could get, and as soon as the training ended, I was sent alone to a small subcontractor. Although we had apologized several times, we arranged multiple meetings to maintain relationships and promote our products and improved security. At 17, I was seen no differently from any regular employee by our clients. I faced stern reprimands, intense questioning, and challenging inquiries. Some companies even told us never to show our faces again. There were times I felt utterly desperate and wanted to run away, but I kept apologizing sincerely. My father and the other employees were going through much harder times. All this time, I had been living comfortably on the money earned by my father and the employees. I had to repay that kindness. That resolve kept me standing firm. When I visited a certain factory, a different person appeared in the reception room instead of the usual sales manager. For some reason, the president himself was there to meet me. Why? What did they want from me? There was no time to ponder these questions. I straightened up, even more, realizing the gravity of the situation. As I was about to pull out the documents I always carried with me to start explaining the situation, the person gestured with a hand for me not to bother.
We're already informed. No worries.
Oh, really? I sincerely apologize for any inconvenience we've caused.
No need to apologize so much. Look up.
I was taken aback by this different approach, unlike the sales manager who always bombarded me with stern questions. Meanwhile, the president was having a coffee with a smile.
You look quite young. How old are you?
I'll be 18 this year.
Still a minor, then, and yet you're already with Taylor Systems.
It's my father's company, actually. Surprised, he asked.
Oh, weren't you given the chance to go to college? You're not of the age to work so hard yet.
I chose this myself. I wanted to support my father and the employees in these difficult times, so I insisted on joining the company. I'm still inexperienced and don't know much about society, but I believe I can be of some use. The president took a sip of the coffee again and nodded.
Your parents have raised you well, haven't they?
Thank you. I hesitated for a moment, wondering if I should be modest, but I nodded honestly, acknowledging that my parents are indeed respectable people.
By the way, our sales director is quite the stern figure, isn't he?
I almost choked on my words, but calmly denied it. I couldn't possibly agree out loud. No, not at all. He always takes the time to listen, and I'm grateful for that.
It's good you think so, but I feel he can be a bit too forceful. He has mentioned you occasionally and seemed quite pleased. So young and yet so responsible. He's looking forward to the future of Taylor Systems.
That's really.
You didn't hear it directly, did you? He may have been tough on you, but behind the scenes, I've only heard good things. That's why I insisted on meeting you today. Just like he said, you're a serious kid. In light of your efforts, we should consider resuming our business dealings.
Thank you so much.
We owe a lot to Taylor Systems, after all.
My efforts had finally paid off, and I was overwhelmed with joy. Being able to contribute to the company, to my family, brought tears to my eyes. I expressed my gratitude again and again, careful not to let my emotions show. Almost simultaneously, other clients and partners began to express their forgiveness. Senior employees praised me, but I knew it was all thanks to everyone who kindly taught me from scratch when I was still just a kid. Thanks to my parents who supported me since childhood, the people at the company, and our clients, I am where I am today because of the involvement of so many people. I learned how important it is to support each other and felt profound gratitude. 10 years had passed since the company faced a turning point. I got out of a taxi in front of a towering building in the heart of a district filled with office buildings in downtown. There, in front of the headquarters of a major bank, which stood out among the rest. Overwhelmed by its size, I approached the entrance. As a man and woman came out, I stepped aside to let them pass. My gaze caught by the woman's profile. When it seemed she felt my stare, she turned around.
Hey, isn't that Steven?
The woman's voice, recognizing me, and her face, brought back memories. It was Emily White, my girlfriend from high school. She was wearing a bank uniform. Possibly an employee here. Whether she took over her family's company or worked here for experience, I didn't know or care. But having been addressed by name, I was about to simply nod and enter the building when she spoke again.
What? did you come to see me? I told you to stay away, didn't I?
Was it not clear I was just passing by? I wanted to remark on her self-importance, but shook my head to avoid a scene. It's a coincidence.
A coincidence. You don't have any business here, do you? Or maybe you're here for a janitorial job. Our janitors are quite skilled, though. I wonder if you'd fit in.
Emily, who is he?
The man next to Emily was arm in arm with her. Likely her current partner.
Just an ex. Not really significant, just a brief thing in high school. He became so poor he had to drop out. Such a pitiful guy.
You were even kind to someone like that, Emily. That's sweet of you.
Why must I be looked down upon by a stranger? The indirectness of it all was particularly irritating. Pleased with the praise, Emily continued to look down on me with a smile.
Sadly, I've moved to even higher circles since then.
She seemed to believe I was still chasing her, relentlessly talking about unasked details.
I got a job here. I'm off to lunch with him now. He's the son of the bank president, the future successor, of course.
She boasted as if it were her own achievement. Maybe dating the president's son is a result of her efforts. So just because he's her boyfriend or whatever, doesn't mean he's all that impressive, as far as I can tell. What truly deserves respect is the bank president himself and the employees and partners who contribute to the management. Eventually, Emily and her boyfriend might become part of that, but they shouldn't be so arrogant with just our level of professional experience. Arguing would be pointless, so I held back. Important lessons are learned through experience. And clearly, they had no interest in hearing what I had to say. I see.
Too shocked to speak.
Emily's boyfriend, likely a Morgan since that's the bank president's surname, said,
It's understandable. We aren't really the type to mingle with the common folk.
Common folk?
Yes. You didn't really think you could join our bank, did you? Did you think a commoner like you could get in?
What exactly do you mean by common folk?
Just that. Ordinary, with nothing special about them. Only the chosen should step foot in this headquarters. After all, you have no business here. Oh, you wanted to see Emily, right? Just try stepping onto the property, and I'll have security throw you out.
I can't enter the bank.
Of course not.
That's troublesome. If I can't be involved, I guess I'll have to close my account here, about $100 million worth. I didn't want to mention the exact amount, but thought it necessary to make an impact and shut them up. However, they didn't seem to take me seriously.
$100 million. My gosh. Even if you dropped out of high school, you should know how to do basic math.
You're quite funny, you know. Do you even realize how much $100 million is? Can you tell me how many bucks you'll need?
Seeing them laugh it off, I realized there was no point in continuing the conversation. Leaving the laughing pair behind, I headed toward the bank.
Hey, if you go any further.
But before I could enter, a suited man came out, recognized me, and greeted me.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Long time no see. Prompted by him, I returned the greeting.
I saw you from inside, Stephen.
Dad.
The guy who seemed to be a son of Morgan, Paul, couldn't help but exclaim. Yes, this man was his father, the bank president himself, named John Morgan. John immediately glared at the sound of his son's voice and rebuked him in a calm tone.
How many times must I tell you not to call me Dad at work? You're not a child anymore. Act accordingly.
Oh.
And what's with that arm around her? Even if it's a break, It's still working hours. It's disgraceful.
After being pointed out, Paul and Emily detached from each other. Then, turning to face me in his sales smile, he explained,
This is my son. Did he do something rude to you?
It was a parade of rude remarks. How should I convey the extent of the disrespect beyond his imagination? Well, after talking to him, I decided to close our account here.
What?
His eyes widened in shock, his whole body expressing surprise. I felt bad, but my mind was already made up.
Why on earth? Could it be that my son really did something improper?
Dad. I mean, President Morgan. Why do we have to be so humble with this person?
What are you saying?
John silenced his son's outburst.
He's the president of Taylor Systems, with whom our headquarters have direct dealings.
We have direct.
Indeed, in just 10 years, I had become the president. Having overcome the brink of bankruptcy, my father, as the president of Taylor Systems, recognized my efforts in learning extensively within the company and regaining much of its credibility. Believing the company could be entrusted to me, he transferred executive control more than 10 years ahead of schedule and assumed the chairmanship. Since regaining our lost credibility, the trust between our partners and clients has been stronger than ever, and with various support and advice, Taylor Systems has experienced rapid growth. Business magazines have even started saying we are leading the industry with exceptional momentum.
Not knowing President Taylor's face. That's what happens when you don't take your job seriously.
But Emily said,
I had no idea. Only knew him until high school.
Is it true? That guy has dealings with our bank.
His manner of speaking hadn't changed. He couldn't grasp the situation.
Be quiet. Stephen, let's talk inside.
No, thank you. Our company values people and employees above all as our philosophy. Paul's demeanor changed completely as our eyes met. However, a company that has people like him who scorn those with less money as commoners and sit complacently in their positions, especially since he's supposedly the next president. John turned pale and was insistent. I felt bad for him, but I thought it was due to his failure in educating his son and hoped he would come to terms with it. Thus, the dealings with Morgan Bank were terminated. Later, when the president personally came to apologize, I learned about the aftermath. Morgan Bank, having lost a significant contract worth about $100 million, became the center of attention both within and outside the industry. I heard that their contracts with several other companies were also at risk as shareholders, and the media became fully aware. Moreover, the incident in front of the bank involving me was witnessed by employees, and the narrative that Paul and Emily caused damage to the bank spread quickly. Being a true story, they had no excuse. Furthermore, Paul was not only removed from the list of future presidential candidates, but also got fired to rectify his character. Although John expressed a desire to rebuild trust with our company from scratch, restoring relations wouldn't be easy. Given the son's behavior, it would be difficult to mend ties until the company underwent significant change, a decision my father, now the chairman, and I continued to politely decline. One day, my secretary proposed a new meeting schedule.
It's business related, but they specifically asked for you, not the sales department.
Really? What's the name?
It's Emily White from White Cosmetics. From the name, she seems to be from the owning family.
I was taken aback. Emily was trying to reach out to me through the company. For what reason? I hadn't heard from Emily since our encounter at Morgan Bank. I don't know what happened to her since, but she probably couldn't continue living as before. Maybe she left the bank to take over her family business. Still, I wondered why she was trying to contact me now. Could it be revenge? I speculated, but wouldn't know until we met. I decided to accept the meeting.
It's been a while.
Emily, whom I met in the reception room after 6 months, looked quite worn out, but was still well dressed, appearing like any other professional woman. After being laid off, Emily broke up with Paul, seemingly left with no choice but to return to her family home. There, she discovered the looming crisis her family's business was facing.
Our family business is on the brink of bankruptcy.
White Cosmetics. I had not heard such news before, but I recalled that White Cosmetics was a subsidiary, and it was the performance of the parent conglomerate that was in jeopardy.
The conglomerate decided to make some companies independent as part of cost-cutting measures. Our company was one of them.
That company is being incredibly irresponsible. Independence in name only, essentially meaning a mass layoff. It was clear that being suddenly released from control and left without support, survival would be unlikely. Such actions shouldn't be taken by a company affecting tens of thousands of lives. But there was no point in my getting angry. So, what brings you here, Ms. White? I decided to calmly listen to her story. Emily came here not as a former classmate or ex-partner, but as an employee of White Cosmetics.
I didn't know the situation at home. I thought marrying well and just working would make money, and I could send some back home. But returning home, I found things had turned out like this.
Her fists were clenched tightly on her lap, filled with either anger or sadness.
So, I decided to work for my family's sake. I pleaded with my parents and managed to join the company to help turn it around, inspired by you, Stephen. No, Mr. Taylor.
Her eyes, aflame with determination, were different from when we were in high school or when we met in front of the bank.
Honestly, I looked down on you, dropping out of high school to join a company. I thought such a person couldn't possibly be an asset. I assumed your company was doomed. But I was wrong. Seeing you revive the company and live respectably, I couldn't just watch my own company crumble.
Emily, like me in the past, had been humbly seeking assistance and innovating products to attract more customers.
But it's not going well. My past actions, squandering my former company's dealings, meant I couldn't easily regain trust, which seems to have become known outside the company too. There were baseless rumors, but I realized that regaining lost credibility isn't easy, and I understand that I can't restore your trust by doing nothing.
Emily apologized deeply.
I'm sorry for all the disrespect and hurt I caused you. I fully understand how much you value people and trust. I'll strive to become someone like you. So please help White Cosmetics. I know it's overly convenient for me to ask.
Silence fell in the reception room. Emily stayed completely still. And I pondered. Specifically, what do you need? When I asked, Emily quickly lifted her face and pulled out a file from her bag, spreading it out for me to see.
Taylor Systems. We want you to develop a skin health check tool that can be easily used on smartphones and computers. According to our research, 80% of the users of our products.
I was genuinely surprised by how smoothly and convincingly Emily presented her proposal. Something I hadn't expected in just a few months.
That's the situation. However, we can't pay for it right now, so.
You mean a deferred payment arrangement, right?
Yes.
All right, let's collaborate.
Really? Oh, thank you so much.
Overwhelmed, Emily shouted out. and tears welled up in her eyes. Apologizing, she wiped her eyes with a handkerchief, a completely different person from the one I knew before. And so, the rescue project for White Cosmetics was initiated. Employees who had gone through similar situations showed significant enthusiasm. Emily occasionally visited our company for business discussions, each time looking around in wonder.
Why is everyone so kind? Honestly, there's no benefit to helping us.
The employees attending meetings with Emily consistently offered her words of encouragement.
We will definitely revive with our system. Don't give up.
I have a personal connection with that company. Maybe we should propose a deal.
Even I, as the president, was impressed by their integrity.
They are serious about their work, but isn't that a bit too passionate?
Do you think so? After the business meeting, Emily and I went to visit the manufacturer of the system equipment, and later entered a nearby restaurant to talk about our employees. I never imagined I would have a meal with Emily again. Our company values people and employees. It's not just a one-sided management philosophy. It is naturally evolved because everyone understands the necessity of mutual support. That includes not just our employees, but also our partners and clients. People like Emily and her company.
It's a wonderful company. I wonder if mine can be like that too.
It will be, I guarantee it. With Emily as she is now, I believe she can become an excellent president someday.
Sorry, it's a bit inappropriate to laugh at a time like this.
I was surprised when Emily suddenly started laughing and noticed her face was blushing.
I'm really happy to be called Emily again after so long.
Right. I had intentionally avoided using her name, trying to be mindful of our business relationship. Just slipped out.
I see.
Even as the food was served, we both stared at the table, not touching our meals. I never thought about wanting to start over with Emily. After being rejected so harshly, I had no lingering feelings. But she is no longer the same person. Hey!
Wait.
My voice was slightly high-pitched as I braced myself to speak. Stop by, Emily. I couldn't continue speaking.
I can't be with you. Not for any silly reason like before.
She said with a bashful smile.
Rather, it's the opposite. I'm not worthy of you.
That's not for Emily to decide.
I can't as I am now. What I did to you can't be undone. That's why I intend to rebuild the company and become someone worthy of you. If there's even a little place for me in your heart, then.
All right. Seeing my nod, Emily clenched her fists.
For my family, and to become someone worthy of you, I'll do my best.
Understood. I support you. Finally, we began to eat. I learned in business that without the support of others, one can't survive. Despite her past mistakes, Emily taught me that people can start over. The saying "no good deed goes unrewarded" holds true. I too can still make a difference. To be supported and to support others. We smiled at each other, acknowledging this mutual resolve. 5 years later, the rescue project for White Cosmetics succeeded, and Emily officially became the president. The day when her half-joking high school dream of a couple as presidents might become reality seems not too far away.
Poor folks will always stay poor, right? Would you even deposit a penny in my bank, huh?
At the high school reunion, I ran into the fated enemy, a daughter of a bank president, Sarah Johnson. She still looked down on me, spouting whatever she wanted. I was utterly astounded by her attitude. Still trying to mock me, I got so angry that I pulled out my phone and said, President Johnson, I'm canceling a deposit of $100 million. And more shocking truths awaited her. I am Emily Thompson, 30 years old. While working as a lowly office worker, I'm also living alone. Even though I'm an office worker, my company pays me so poorly that paying rent is a stretch. Despite the struggle, I prefer not to rely on my parents, dedicating my days off to side jobs and being extremely frugal when times are tough. My lifestyle might seem a bit constrained to others, but I have a loving partner and am satisfied with my life. Then one day, an invitation to the high school reunion arrived at my home. Seeing the invitation, I made a sour face. Because high school wasn't a place of fond memories for me. When I was in high school, I was a bit on the chubby side compared to others. I thought my face was plain, and more than anything, I hated my acne-prone sensitive skin. During high school, my skin condition was at its worst, and looking in the mirror every day brought me down. The one who took notice of me was Sarah Johnson, the most prominent girl in school. Sarah always called me dirty and even threw water over my head in the bathroom, claiming she was washing my face for me. I was hesitant to go to a reunion filled with such memories. But now I've lost a lot of weight compared to my high school days, and my skin has become smooth and clear, without a single blemish. Honestly, I think people who knew me back then wouldn't recognize me now. That's why I thought maybe it wouldn't hurt to go. But this thoughtless action would make me feel miserable like in the old days. On the day of the reunion, I dressed up in a new dress and went to the venue. While parking my car, feeling excited, I saw Rachel, an old good friend from school. I hadn't been in touch with her since graduating, so I felt nostalgic and immediately rushed to her after parking. Long time no see, Rachel. Remember me? I'm Emily.
What? Emily? Is that really you? You've become so beautiful.
Hearing that from Rachel made me very happy. I could confidently say I had transformed significantly from my past self. Honestly, until Rachel said that, I wasn't sure if I had really changed. I was afraid of meeting high school friends who might say, "What, really? You haven't changed at all." But that fear vanished. Until she showed up.
Hey, you're in the way.
As we were walking by, none other than Sarah, who used to bully and torment me in the past, popped her head out of the car and called out to us. I recognized her immediately with her upturned eyes and loose, curly chestnut hair, just like before. "Oh, sorry, Sarah." I found myself apologizing instinctively, out of old habit. She looked surprised at first, but then she exclaimed, "Huh?
Could that voice be Emily?"
Yes, it's me. I guess I've changed too much to be recognized," I said to Sarah with a sheepish smile. Then, Sarah began to smile with the same malicious delight as before.
"Really? You've changed so much. Where did you dump that sloppy figure and nasty skin? Did you get plastic surgery or something?"
Her words made me choke, but I gathered my courage to respond. "No way, I don't have money for plastic surgery. I've worked hard to lose weight and even went to a dermatologist to improve my skin condition." I said this with a bit of pride, remembering the blood, sweat, and tears I put into my efforts. Sarah pursed her lips in displeasure for a moment, but soon returned to her usual smile.
"Yay, right. Like you'd have money when your parents are so broke they're in debt."
Sarah's words made me bristle. Indeed, my parents had failed in business and accumulated debt at one point. And the lender was the bank where Sarah's father was the president. Her attitude worsened after that, a fact I couldn't forget even if I wanted to. However, my parents had paid off all their debts decades ago, so bringing that up now, I thought Sarah was still as mean-spirited as ever.
"Well, no matter how much your appearance has changed, your introverted life remains the same, huh? Still mumbling and hunching over, I see. I thought you might have gained some confidence, but you're just like a cardboard cutout." What are you so proud of?
Sarah sneered and burst into laughter. Seeing her like that, I realized once again how much I disliked her. But I took her spiteful remarks as a sign that she might be feeling a bit bummed out. Sarah mocked me and then quickly rolled up her car window and drove off. Even though we were still standing there, she drove by without a care. What a nasty person. Maybe I should just go home. As I muttered this, watching Sarah's car, Rachel, who was glaring at Sarah, said, "Why? You've become beautiful. Don't sweat someone like her." Hearing Rachel's words, I reconsidered and headed to the venue. But I would later regret not leaving at that moment. As soon as I entered, I felt the glances of my classmates. Surely everyone thought I was Emily Thompson, walking along so familiarly with Rachel, but they must have been uncertain. When I told my name to the receptionist, who was the popular guy back then, exclaimed in surprise. That really put me in the spotlight all at once. Everyone looked at me with wide eyes and praised me. Just when I was starting to enjoy the attention, Sarah reappeared in front of me.
What's the commotion?
Like before, Sarah walked through the center of the